Hello, everyone. Kenyon here. Basketball Rewind. I'm joined by Beyond the Locker Room, Coach Roach. How is everyone doing? I am full of energy, and my feet are frozen. So, how are you guys doing?
Good, man. Yeah, can't complain.
Two
Another
thumbs up. Can't complain.
thumbs up. And for those that are marching along for the campaign,
That's
it,
right.
it was a strong week for you. It ended up being a stronger week than you thought. A weird week in this case, and it looked that way when it started. But
Don't
boy,
worry. Don't worry,
I got
people.
there.
Yeah. You saw I started posting, not every single night, but on the key nights, Tank Watch.
Yeah.
And the key games to watch if you are tanking. We will get into tanking and the talk of it, how it is the talk of the town. We will get into that later. But right now, we're going to talk about trade speculation. I think the easiest way to start with trade speculation is to start with Beyond's favorite team, and that would be the Pistons. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when we started this off, this year, I should say, we suggested that they might be buyers come this time because they have the assets and they have the young players to make a move. Now, it sounds like the rumors have come out and the Pistons plan on being a buyer, but they don't plan on making a major earth-shattering news. They're not going to be trading for Jimmy Butler per se, but they are going to get into the mix. Who knows? Maybe they get a Cam Johnson. So, let's talk about it. Beyond, I'll give you the honors. Like, what do you think of that? Who are potential thoughts? And then I can also, after we're done this, we'll go to Coach, and I'll kind of outline all of the generalized rumors beyond this one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at more in an abstract way. So there's two trains of thought that people are talking about with the Pistons. One is the look for a pseudo replacement this year for Ivy to help take pressure off of Cade. The second one, I guess, is maybe more a me thing. I haven't heard people talk about as much as maybe I have. I still think Detroit's a bit light in the front court. So I am of the opinion that they should look for the front court. Because I get the rationales, like, especially with a guy like Cade's injury history the load might be a lot, but I don't think it's a coincidence that the more they've kind of leaned into Cade, the more that the Pistons have played better in this case as this season's gone on. Don't get me wrong, but it's also done. You still need Ivy when he comes back, and he was playing quite well himself. But there is something about just letting Cade just do his thing and see how far it can go. And he's proven to be a winning player when he's doing his thing. So I would let them ride that out if we can for most of the season. I think they get enough offense from others like Hardaway Jr. and Harris to help supplement times. Um, who knows? Maybe this might give opportunity for Duran to get a little more touches to help with him. So I think they're okay enough because when you're kind of in this position, you're playing with house money. You don't have to go for the gusto right now and go and get some guys going to throw off all the chemistry and stuff like that when Ivy comes back next year. Get the big, get a solid big. You can have the kind of have in your front court to help. When you get into like a position, be it playoff position or you definitely play in. So that's what I'm looking at.
Coach, your thoughts?
Just like what Beyond said, I think they are a little light up front. Durham's listed at 6'9", 6'10" at most. And he's by far their most, I'd say, physical skilled player. Stort, same thing. You're looking at 6'8" to 6'10". Go get the 7-footer. I don't think it would cost you a whole lot to go get a guy like a Valanciunas, for example, to come in off your bench. Especially, I think he's got a year or two left on that deal. It's not. I don't think it's too bad. And he's also got some playoff experience. His time with the Raptors, his time with Memphis. Valanciunas is a lot to deal with inside, and I think with Cade controlling the tempo of the team, and like Beyond said as well with Ivy, that's going to hurt Detroit. But I do think a guy like JV might be an option. I also think they may need another guard though, guy who can kind of control the pace a little bit, especially with Ivy out, because you got shooters around them in Hardaway and Beasley and Fontecchio. But I think their main priority should be to go get a big.
Yeah, I think in terms of getting a big, it's interesting. We did see a big get treated recently. That would be Nick Smith. Nick Richards. However, I don't know if Nick Richards would have been the right big for them based on the fact that they have a lot of young bigs and maybe having a veteran presence who doesn't care as much about the minutes and establishing themselves is probably the better way to go for Detroit. I'm just gonna name a couple of names that are out there. Don't worry, I'm not gonna start with everyone's favorite. I will start though with saying, when you say front court depth, do you mean specifically a center, or can it be a power forward as well?
I think it could be. Let me put it this way. It's a power forward could play center if you're going that way. It can't be a power forward play small forward, right?
Okay.
Like Tobias Harris. Like I don't want that. That's a power forward. That's a power forward
Yeah,
masquerading.
you already have him too.
That's a small forward masquerading as a power forward, right? I mean, I talk about power forward. The two guys that coach mentioned that play for the team, in theory, you could play them at power forward, but they can't play center minutes.
Okay, so that for you that will take out Cam Johnson, because Cam
Yeah.
Johnson, obviously the Nets want 2 first rounders for Cam Johnson.
Cam
They've
Johnson,
stated that.
Cam Johnson is if you want the first thing and you want to have a replacement for Ivy.
Yes.
That's the Cam Johnson play.
Now, the Bulls are also shopping Pat Williams, but he wouldn't fit your true center spot, and also he is injury
Other guys
prone.
like me.
Olynk.
No, I'm
Just
talking about
kidding.
other guys.
Yeah. So Nick Vucevic. So you would be interested in Nick Vucevic?
Yeah, I think it's similar to in some ways it's similar to what
He'd fit next to Ivy, to Duran.
Well, yeah, exactly. Actually, he's a cleaner fit than JV, right? Like he and you think of Cade and he getting in the lane and how he could pass. If he's kicking out the Vucevic from 18 feet,
Yeah.
JV really got that type of game. He should jump shot. Of course, JV can shoot from out there, but it's not really. JV's like dump the ball in and he's gonna do work.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that. Boom, boom.
Boom, right?
Just
Not
money.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's not.
But I think, if you're looking to try to really go and lean into what Cade can do, Vooch probably fits better.
It also slows you down from the standpoint of just how you play your game. It could be a good thing because it can give you 2 different play styles. But
Vucevic or
no. I'm talking about JV.
Yeah. Because Vooch, funny enough, Vooch has played well with this high-paced Bulls offense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I get it with Vooch. With JV, because I'm thinking in the playoffs, it's not a bad thing. But then when you're playing him, you're committed to playing a very methodical style, slowing down the pace half-court offense to really, if you're involving him in the offense, which you would want to.
right. Yeah, in that sense, he would be a very solid playoff player because you can play a lot of pick and roll with him, and that would be very effective with Cunningham and getting him as a pick and roll partner. So yeah, there's positives for both of them. There's obviously negatives for both. Neither one of them's really a defensive stalwart that we're talking about. Like it's funny. Like last year, Gafford was that pickup, right? That no one wanted to think. So it's like if I'm Detroit, you're looking around, it's like who's a guy just playing on a bad team? But PJ was the same way. I was saying so. You and I are saying so for the beginning of the season with the Raptors. You're looking for guys like if you got a different, just a clean bill of health, you got a different, environment. A guy could really play. And I think you got to look around some of these teams that are weaker teams.
Right.
Your favorite guy is always one throwing out here. I think of him just as a straight power forward. I know he plays center a bit, but John Collins, for example, would be.
Yeah. I see him the same. John Collins would be interesting. I don't know how the salary would work, but yeah.
But John Collins, in my mind, is a guy that demands more touches than those two guys.
For sure. No, I don't know if he would deserve more touches than Vucevic.
No, but the way he plays, he commands more touches in a way he plays more than Vucevic. Vucevic just get his off of just releases, just pressure releases. Oh, there's a kick out, knock your shot down, and you look up at the spot score. Oh, he had 12 shots today. You don't even know where they came from. Right? But when John Collins gets 12 to 15 shots, let's put it that way. He might be baptizing someone on one of them, but it. But yeah, that's the way I think you gotta look. You gotta scour those. You gotta scour those bad teams, man.
100%. And then I'm just gonna toss out a couple extra names just because we're talking about big men. Now Nurkic is available. I don't think you're necessarily looking for Nurkic.
Of all the
I'm
guys,
just saying he seems to be available. He seems to be flapping in the wind, right? You know, and out there. I'm trying to think who else. There was another guy recently that was out there that is not a Raptors player. Basically, there's a couple guys for the right price. Obviously Nick Claxton. I don't think Nick Claxton is the right person. You already have Duran. No offense. I know some people don't. You think Duran's overrated or whatever. Fine. But I don't think that really solves the issue. So, yeah, I mean, I see it. I think that could be a sneaky move. There was one, which is, shout out to Mouth, brought this to your attention. What is your thoughts on your other team, which is Dallas leaving and saying that they don't mind putting Gafford back on the market?
Yeah, that was surprising. I don't know what they're
And
trying to.
would that work for Detroit?
Oh, for sure. Hell yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
understand. I'm just looking from the Dallas perspective. I don't know what Dallas like. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it from the standpoint that okay, Lively's moved on to the standpoint now he's a guy who can command like 35 minutes a game, blah blah type of guy. That's essentially what you're saying.
Right.
However, you can never have too many front court guys. Like I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling that comfortable at level. Lively's health all of a sudden is like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we just put Gafford on the market. Like, hello, like what are we doing here? Like Lively's not that solid in this case. I just put him out here, and then next we're back to being a too thin of a team. I don't like that one bit, man. So I don't know what Dallas is doing with that. Like that feels panicky. I don't like it.
I agree with you. I think it's also sometimes just putting something out there just to make sure people know that you're actually doing work and making work. But I don't really see the purpose of it because I think that Gafford, I like the move. I wish we got Gafford last year personally, but that's just me. Too late for that now. So just to go through all of the trade rumors that we're hearing, and we can kind of talk about them all and bring Coach back into the fold. Just like how the Heat have tried to bring in Butler back into the fold. We're not going to do it that way, though, Coach. We want to keep you here. We want we like Coach. We're not trying to trade Coach. So, Bucks, never. Bucks are interested in Beal. The Nets. Well, we already talked about them, but Kings and Pacers are interested in and they're in pursuit for Cam Johnson. Warriors apparently are eyeing Olynk. Okay. Bruce Brown, not much. Sit your cowboy hat wearing behind next to Darko. Boucher does seem to have some suitors, but no bites at the apple since outside of the Denver thing. And that is about it. And Pat Williams, like I said, is on the market. Beyond your thoughts.
No, I just want to throw something out to you guys. And maybe I throw it out to Coach first. Can someone explain to me what is the hesitation for the Raptors to make the deal with Denver for Boucher?
Are we shocked by this?
Well, yeah, there's no shock. But here's what I think. I'm going to make the argument that someone was making to me on Twitter to kind of point out where the challenges of doing that is. Sometimes you want to be the belle of the ball, and you want to be able to facilitate a 3-team deal. And sometimes you miss out on opportunities.
Oh, so this is for the imaginary deal that we're going to supposedly make. Okay.
Yes, because to involve yourself with Jimmy Butler, you somehow have to trade one of probably two of, Brown, Boucher, maybe even a Davion. And basically, I think that they're trying to clean all their books in one go. And it don't work like that.
Did I not hear Bobby Webster say when this year started? We need to hit some singles over the next few years, like individual deals. I mean, the Boucher deal to me would be the equivalent, I think, of a single. I'm assuming you bring back Zeke Naji. Naji's not very good, but he's like 8 years younger. and his contract is it's manageable. It's fine. That's my idea of a single. But it seems like his boss wants to go hit grand slams all the time. So which is it? Grand slam? Singles. It's like the
Okay.
Pascal. It's
Grand
like the
slam,
Pascal.
baby.
It's like the Pascal and RJ trade, right?
I'm glad you brought this up. Okay, coach. So let me throw this out at you in this case here, because it's going to involve your man a little bit. If you were to make that deal, where would Najee on the Chomsky scale be at this case here?
Is he 5 Chomsky's? No.
If Chomsky's here, 3 years for 3 years, where's Zeke Najee in this case?
Years away.
Is he here? Here?
No, he's more advanced, but he's supposed to be backing up Jokic. Now you're not going to get much time there. You do wonder if a different developmental situation for him would benefit him. I actually liked him in Arizona. He was pretty good there, but in Denver, it's been
Yeah,
not
to your
the best.
point, where's he? First
But
they,
the coach is do you want to bring him into this developmental situation?
well, okay. Okay, Kenny, let's put it this way. Someone got to come here, okay? When it's all said and done, like someone got to come here.
Yeah, I mean, you could just buy guys out. I'm just saying. Like,
No, but if we're
like or Orlando Robinson was here as a grand opening, grand closing.
that's my point. Right?
He did, he was the granddad in the Simpsons where he came into the door, put his hat down, took the hat off, put it
You're
back.
making my point.
No.
Instead of picking guys like Orlando Robinson, when you can pick actually a legitimate draft choice in this case here, where it's like, okay, this is a guy that might have some potential to do some damage. I thought the type of player or the type of, let me use the term of the day, a type of asset the Raptors wanted was either a draft pick of some sort or draft picks. I thought B, an expiring contract, or C, a young player off of someone's bench. I think he fits the third category. And he's a big two, which last time I checked, we got 2 guys over 6'10", and one of them 6'10" on the paper, but he plays like 6'2". So like, give me a break. Like, what are we doing here?
Are you talking about Pirtle?
No, I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, okay, because sometimes Pirtle gets
Pearl
he gets bossed around.
He gets tossed around by Brook Lopez. I mean, they're still trying to find pieces of his limbs the other day in Milwaukee, like how he got tossed around like that. That was embarrassing. That one play in the quarter where he's like, Brook was like, get out of here, guy. Let me get this ball. I'm like, my gosh.
I just love how like Giannis slammed down on like 3 Raptors. Look back at Scotty. He's like, ugh. Don't you ever?
You want to get frisky, young buck? This is what gonna look like.
Yeah. Yeah, these moments are important for young teams, but that was a rough one.
I just don't understand. I thought in this case here, this is what we're looking for. He's a he's a pretty athletic, big. He's like, coach, he's about 7 feet, is he not?
6'9", 6'10".
6'9", 6'10".
He fits the vision.
Yeah, but 6'9", he's bigger. He's a guy who can actually do some work.
True.
Right? Like, we don't got any guys like that. He's bigger than Boucher.
No.
He's 20 years old. Like,
he's 240 pounds.
He has a better back than Olynk.
He's on him. Like, he can play center at 6'10". We going back to Duran? That's essentially Duran's dimensions. I'm not saying he's Duran. I'm just saying that a guy like him could get 10, 15 minutes out here and see what he can do. I'd rather put the 10, 15 minutes in him instead of watching the corpse of Kelly Olynyk every night. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's all I'm saying, guys. I just want to know, like, what's a deal sitting there? To your point, why are we trying to get the perfect deal? You're supposed to kind of clear out space to get more young guys on. So,
right. I mean, I just think, like, I agree with you. And this is kind of the problem, right? Is like, my point on Twitter, which was totally missed out, is not that people took the point of me saying it's a waste of time to wait around to be a part of a 3-team deal as me saying, well, you never want to be a part of a 3-team deal. And it's like, no, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that if you're waiting around and if there's an easy Boucher deal when Boucher doesn't factor in to your plans, then just move him out. The problem is that with the Denver deal, they want a pick out of it. And Denver don't have the picks to give for what Boucher is worth. The only picks that they have to give is a 2031 first rounder. I would take that. But I don't think Denver's going to give an unprotected or even a protected 2031 first round pick. I don't even know if Jokic is still going to be on that team in 2031.
Look, for Chris Boucher, honestly,
this world might not even be around in 2031.
Yeah, the Najee in the second round pick to me is fine.
But there's no second round pick for them to give.
Okay, fine. Then take the Zeke Najee kid and just move on then.
I mean, I agree with you, but you get my point. So that's
your point.
They want more. They feel like Chris Boucher is probably worth the first, maybe at least.
He's so worth it. He's been sitting the bench for most of the season beside Darko. He's so worth it. You read that like every second game, like
I told that he's a rookie.
The Raptors with cap room is problematic for a variety of reasons. One, free agency just doesn't really exist for us, so you can't lose these guys, and sometimes you have to kind of strike when the iron's hot. And for Boucher right now, the longer you let this go, the value could go up, it could go down. But we know one thing right now, it's up.
But Coach, the other thing too is like we don't have any money. Even if we let most of our guys go, that money is now being absorbed by Scotty's contract, Quickly's continuation of a contract, RJ being paid, right? We are an expensive lottery team.
Yep.
Shout out to Bill Simmons.
Yeah, you didn't even talk about your man Pirtle.
Pearl too. And then you hear people talking about Pearl which I don't know, I'd have to double check, but Pearl might, depending on how he plays with the player option that he has at the end of it, he might be up for an extension next year. And people are talking that we need to figure out a Pearl extension. So, yeah, I know. You see and hear some crazy things out in the Twitterverse. But, this is Basketball Rewind, so we're going to bring it back. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, we should actually bring it back down to earth and set expectations. There's a world, and I put it out there, and people don't want to accept it, but it's slowly coming through the closer we get there. There's a world where Bruce Brown comes back at the end of the trade day and on February 6th, and says, "Hello, boss, Masai, buy me out." That happens. That could very well happen.
I don't see that happening.
I doubt it, because I think at bare minimum, they will find a way to get rid of Bruce Brown, even if it's at an L, just because of the optics of it.
Raptors malaria in this case here. He'll sit for the rest of the season. We know that already.
Oh, you don't think that they'll buy him out?
No, I don't think Bruce Brown's going to request a buyout.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's sitting pretty, is what you're saying.
Bruce Brown, this environment in the CBA, where's he getting $24 million ever again?
No. But what I'm saying is, if you buy him out at say you give him $20 million of the remainder, whatever it works out to be, and you give him that and just ship him off, he might be happy. But then again, we might be cheap and we might not want to pay him. It might be like Sasha Vezenkov, but it's just like in this case, he's like, nah, I'm taking my money.
Let me put it this way. Let Coach jump in here. Does Bruce Brown look like a man in this case that he really got that much urgency at the moment?
No.
Coach. This man, he's one step away from having his own design cowboy hats right now, ready to go up on sale. Like,
he was in GQ.
I see.
He was in GQ this week. Yo, this is the only franchise that players, no offense to Bruce Brown, but a player of his caliber in GQ. This is the only franchise. Chris Boucher is having a podcast every single week. And then on a nationally syndicated show, you have Dennis Schroeder every single, hey, guess what? It's the Dennis Show. Like, what the heck is going on in this nonsense, man? We are so Bush League.
Yep. You see, that's all I'm saying.
People want me to go on a rant. This is me going on a rant. We are Bush League.
I'm just saying.
Oh, my goodness.
I see it as a guy for $4 million like the entire season. Whoop-de-doo. I've already Jim, I ain't chasing
That's
no
true.
ring.
If you say I have a championship, I'm getting my 23 million or 22 and a half. Sorry, people. I'm gonna go sip on a mojito and find a good accountant.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was Samson or Blake. I think it might have been Samson that said that Bruce Brown does look healthy for the most part. Whenever he's out there playing, I don't see anything like he's hobbling or he's moving
yeah.
awkwardly. Bruce Brown, at least we know, is healthy for sure. Now, the play hasn't been the best. He's had some moments where he's looked okay, but that contract is awful.
In this CBA, especially,
In
it's
this
really
CBA, yeah,
hard to. Yeah.
Davion Mitchell and Chris Boucher, they have the best contracts on the team in this CBA,
They do.
especially as of recently with the wins and seeing what Mitchell has been kind of doing defensively on the most part. I can see that being attractive to some teams who might really struggle with POA defense and perimeter defense and just need someone to be a complete pest. Because kind of in the playoffs, there are times that you need a guy like that. You don't need for too long, but you need a guy to kind of disrupt things, put a little bit of pressure on. So I can see even a guy like Davion Mitchell being attracted to some teams.
Well, especially since Davion Mitchell actually has bird rights, and restricted free agency rights. Bruce Brown has none of those. Bruce Brown was on a 2-year contract, so there are no bird rights. So a team that is trading for him will absorb the salary, but they will not be able to go over the salary cap to retain him. That is the problem.
Yeah, I just say this on the Kelly front. If Golden State's that interested, I would say,
Move.
sign here, please, and let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't waste time with that.
I don't want to hear another person telling me when I say, well, if we trade Pirtle, who are we playing at backup center? And they tell me Kelly, I might have a conniption. Okay. Kelly is not a center. He is not a center. Detroit knew it. He's been at 6 teams? They all figured it out. And one final thing, if I ever hear anyone say that Kelly Olynk played good defense in Utah, they are smoking something. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. Okay? You people are better than this. Right? Go watch the film. He has never been a good defender on a regular basis in his career for a very long time, except maybe Boston back in the day. And part of that was because he was doing arm bars. Okay? No, he's not a good defender and hasn't been for some time. We didn't get him for his defense. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't care what analytic metric is you're looking at that is saying that. I watch the games.
That's a friendly fire right there if I ever heard it. Damn.
Sorry, Kelly. Okay? We all saw Team Canada. It was even before Team Canada. It wasn't looking too good. Okay? And then Team Canada, the dude, we needed we needed anyone. It was like, can we get Zach Edey on a plane and change the rules? Because this dude is practically a corpse at this point. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's just frustrating to see this nonsense out there. It's like we are better. We can do better. The discourse could be better. I believe in the fact that we can see what's going on. Kelly is a phenomenal Canadian player. He's had a great time, but right now he is the equivalent of Garrett Temple, but he plays.
He ain't playing much these days. I'll just leave it at that. But
Nor is Garrett Temple. Yeah.
Is there any other deals to discuss?
Well, was I too harsh? I'm sorry.
I'm not losing any sleep about Kelly Olynyk in this case.
Okay.
I just don't see them. I just don't know if they're going to trade him. They re-signed him last year to a 2-year deal. That whole get Canadian deal, like, hey, we like him. Maybe we'll have him retire here, but it's rough.
I don't think that they're going to trade
give you
him.
something, then just consider it.
I don't think that they're going to trade him because he too has commercials.
He got commercials and RJ doesn't.
Not going there.
Okay.
Already got on rants today. To be fair, RJ and Gradey were on the Raptors segment where they went to Scarborough Bluffs. That was kind of cool.
I've been there too. Nice place, but
I have to
he
check it
can
out.
be on some advertisements. I think I see enough Raptors on there, but I digress.
I'm waiting for the Osmos hookup because he keeps touting Osmos like it's just right there, right?
Why you worry about RJ, man? RJ's looking for an Emmy, man. Don't worry about these things.
Oh, I mean, he has to fight with Darko because of his acting on the court. When
RJ's up there big William with Ben Stiller. He ain't got time for all these little Osmo commercials. Come on down, man.
So we're gonna just move into the tanking talk. I think now's a good time to talk, because we're basically there. We're talking about it right now. Time to embrace the tank. So some people are still talking about how the Raptors should fight for the season. I don't hear people as much talking about making a move to like get better, which is thank goodness that's done. At this point in the season, I think it's safe to say, yeah, they're not good defensively. So if you thought they were, it's not something that you can just effort your way into. I would actually say that most nights they're like on the whole, you could pick, different defensive possessions, but on the whole, they are halfway trying at least on a regular basis. And this is top to bottom. I don't care. Name your player, even if it's your favorite player. They're not doing good enough. They suck. They suck. Okay? Just outright, we suck. We're not good. We've won one game on the road for the entire season as of the filming of this podcast. We are what, 1-19?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's easy math. Let's put it that way.
And our one win came from the corpse of the Pelicans team at that time.
Yeah, and yeah, jeez.
No Craig, no Zion, no Ingram. Did McCollum play? Yeah, he did. Alvarado didn't play.
The third didn't play. It was the Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Trey didn't
play. The Baton Rouge Pelicans that are playing, whatever their G League team's called.
Okay, so if I looked at I believe is Chicago's still in the play-in mix at the 10th spot. So Chicago is right there. Chicago has almost double the amount of wins that we have. So stop talking about the play-in. We're not going to make it. We would have to literally go and win 20 more wins straight. Basically, we would have to be winning at a hit. Like, we would have to basically swap our team, body swap them like the Monstars in Space Jam for the what is it, the 92 Bulls or whatever? Is it the 92 Bulls? I think it is.
Yeah.
The Bulls, yeah. So the Bulls that went, or the Golden State Warriors and stuff like that, and give that team, and then maybe you might have a chance of making the play in. That's how low down we are. We have been tied. There's basically now it's a two-way tie as of now because it's just been updated. Thank you, New Orleans, for winning whatever you did. We are the second worst team in the NBA in terms of lottery odds. So don't worry, people. We will be talking about the draft in the future on an episode on Basketball Rewind. But I think it's time to embrace the tank. It's okay to lose. We want to lose competitively because you don't want the players to get demoralized and you don't want fans to talk nonsense about how, this and that. I don't want to fire Darko because Darko is on a mission that he may not even know about, okay? Same with Pat Delaney. This might even be by design. But not everyone is on board and not everyone realizes it. But we got to commit. We got to commit to the role. Who wants to take it away from there?
The coach have that, man.
We had a pod, I think at the beginning of the season. And we all basically said this team doesn't have to tank. They're that bad to begin with. And then you had all the injuries that started out the year. Quickly was out. Barrett was out. Scotty was out, and then he had the orbital bone fracture. Brown was out. Kelly was out. But the G League team that they were playing, basically playing pretty hard, and they were actually in a lot of games, if we remember. Those first month and a half, they had a lot of losses, but they were in a lot of games. Remember with
Yep.
Denver and Boston, one of those games. So the team played really hard, but at the same time, the defense has been atrocious. And I watched the G League team. They're making the same mistakes basically as the big team's doing. Really struggling to fight over screens, lack of communication,
Bad point guard play.
bad point guard play. It's the defense is just like it's a symptom of the big team almost. Like I can't remember the word systemic. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Um, and to tell me next year, okay, boys, now we're going to start trying. Does that not concern people when you see this team now? Because I think this team isn't very good, but when people try to compare this tank to the Oklahoma City tank, that's apples and oranges. That's not the case at all. This
Coach,
roster is better than the OKC roster of 2021. It is. Don't give
Co-
me the stuff about the second round. They had a ton of second round picks on this team. We got like a bunch of top 10 picks on this team.
Coach, can I do a thought experiment with you? Okay.
Have at it.
You let's just you and the audience, me, beyond. We're gonna go on a magical thought experiment. Okay. We'll see if this makes sense. Okay. Thought number one. Darko is teaching everyone the proper things behind closed doors. Secretly, he is like teaching the best stuff. He's teaching how to fight over screens every single time, the right positioning on defense, like just nailing it. Boom. But when it comes to game time, he has the mission from Masai to not win. So, when it comes to game time, he just tells the players, do something else. Does that make sense?
No.
It is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. Straight up. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done catering to that crap. Sorry, people. Sorry. It doesn't make sense. I can't
I
talk.
think Darko wants to win.
I think so too.
Coaches do.
He's just a bad coach right now in terms of his strategy. He's not adjusting really well. The team also sucks, so I'll give him that. The team has a bunch of 6'4" dudes for the most part, and Scotty Barnes and a soft Pirtle. Sorry, Pirtle. I love Pirtle. I think Pirtle is like a decent player on this team. He's a decent player in the NBA. He's a decent center. But on a champion, if you put him on the Boston Celtics, where is he playing? It probably is. Exactly. Right? How many of our players, if you put them on a champion, one of the top 4 contenders, are they going to be in the starting lineup, and are they going to have the same role? Probably none of them. That's the honest truth. So yes, I can give Darko that. I can give the players that. We're not good. But I knew we weren't good. Welcome to Basketball Rewind.
We don't have any culture. We don't have an identity. I think Will Lou said about 2 weeks ago, our identity is losing. It's unfortunate. It really is. I don't mean to say that with saying that lightly. It's terrible. It is one of the realities of a rebuilding team is that you're going to lose more. And if you're a market like Toronto, like an Oklahoma City, like a Memphis, we'll just put it that way, what do you have to do to bring guys in to get talent? There's only one pathway to do that. Really.
Starts with a W.
Yeah. We're not LA. We're not Miami. We're not Dallas. Dallas has help because of, yes, their organization, but they get that no tax state stuff too. That's attractive.
No tax on tips. I agree with you though, Coach. But I will say this though: if we build a better basketball situation, it's a sure of a heck of a lot better than OKC. Just in terms of living and being and residing in and all this type of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with
yeah,
that.
No. We got a long ways to go for that. But but what I'm saying is if you are a young sub 28-year-old male individual with millions of dollars at your disposal, I'm pretty sure I would rather live in Toronto than live in OKC or a lot of other markets. I mean, Miami, fair enough, right? LA, okay, got it. Maybe not right now. It's a little toasty in a bad way,
Yeah.
which, again, all respect to people. I really hope that the people there are safe and okay. And, honestly, that, my heart goes out to all the people in LA. But yeah, Toronto's up there as a market.
Just before Beyond goes, and I'll say this one point, because there was talk about Darko about 2-3 weeks ago with the losing and stuff like that, and a lot of podcasts were saying, "Oh, he's fine," or "Oh, they should be worried," or put it to you this way: I'm not advocating for him to be fired at all. That guy's been through a little bit in terms of roster construction over the last year and a half, but I'll say this: I saw Jay Triano get fired year one into a rebuild with DeMar and those guys before Dwayne Casey came in. Bosch left, and Colangelo really thought that he had a playoff team. He didn't, but they fired him anyway.
Yeah. And before Beyond goes, I'll just add to that I think that now is not the time to get a new coach,
No,
because a new coach, maybe if things get bad again like they were half a month ago, not even that long ago, like 2 weeks ago, if things get that bad in terms of the losing, and it's not just the losing but how they were losing, I could see the guy going, but I'm not advocating for it. The thing is just like optically, it's just that bad where it's like it gets so bad that the fans that are paying to go to the games get disgusted and they just don't want to go. At some point, people got to remember it's a business, so you gotta meet the bottom line and at some level. But I mean, now is not the time to get a new coach. Ideally, if you get in the top four, I know some people are conspiracy theorists and they think, oh, there's no way that Adam Silver will let the Raptors get whatever. Sure, whatever. Okay, I don't believe in it. I think there's a chance. I follow the actual probability laws, but I agree. There's a chance that we probably don't get Cooper Flag. I mean, that's why it's a lottery. But there's a very good chance that we'll end up in the top four with our current trajectory. With that being said, I think that it's important to, how do I put it? Remember this when it comes time for that, because that franchise changing potential person might open up more coaching options for you. Beyond, I'll let you take it away from there. And then there's one final topic that I do want to talk about when it comes to this, and we'll close it out, which is just in terms of the tank. I think it should be a good idea to talk about why it's important to basically hold on, and not make too many drastic moves one way or another. Yeah.
Well, there's three reasons why you actually tank. One is that, well, actually, is one. Let me reverse it. There's only one reason why you tank is that your talent's not good enough, and you're looking at talent that you're trying to reach. In this case, they got a particular type of talent that you think can help you get to become a long-term competitive championship caliber team. And the only ways you get those type of high-level talent, in this case here, is either via trade, free agency, or the draft. Now, we've done it by trade, obviously, before very successfully for 1 year. But that scenario, quite honestly, doesn't really work out as well as people think via trade. That scenario, because it's pretty much a lot of times you're putting a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work out as well as you think when you look at things in this case here. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is with the free agency element, that's fine too. But as you guys mentioned before, for various reasons, and I think it's just a very provincial mindset. I think a lot of Americans have, but you've mentioned this before, Kenyon, that there's opportunities that have opened up for the Raptors that can be very unique to the Raptors, be it homegrown talent that's coming up for free agency, or big time European stars that have no problem living in a city like Toronto. those are some things that I in some ways I don't think we've taken advantage of enough.
No.
And the third one is what we are right now, which is drafting, which is the easiest one.
Yeah.
And I think when you see the tanking, look, man, I don't think people understand this. And they'll throw it back at you guys, but I don't think people understand when the front office says they are looking to tank. With all due respect to your favorite players and it's in your program, that's kind of an indictment on your favorite players. Okay? Because they're saying in this case here, in not so subtle terms, we don't have right now what we think in this case, the type of talent we have right now to be a caliber championship team right now. And we need more of it. Whoever your favorite players may be.
It's also the league telling you that too, to be perfectly honest. Because it's not like there's a whole lineup of people trying to get like any of our players right now.
No, right. Because what you're seeing in this case here, all the good stuff been picked off the rack. No one wants all the stuff that's left back.
Yeah. And right now you have vultures circling the husk of a corpse of a team to maybe get the last little morsels of meat.
Yeah, like whatever's still around like that. But that's what it comes down to. Now, I don't know when it comes to team management, just to kind of just interject on what you guys are talking about before. I'll just say it plainly. And I don't really care what people have to say about it. There's no way I find right now in the position that Masai is in right now, there is no way he could hire another coach. Okay? He's for whatever it is, for better or for worse, he's tied his future to Darko and Scotty. Yeah, that's what that's the dice he wants to roll. Knock yourself out. But he's not getting another crack at the apple to go and pick another coach.
Yeah.
Especially after they made the big rigmarole, 2 years ago about how they're doing this great extensive search all around the world and stuff like that. You got to own that, man. That's your dude. So, this question, Darko's only going one way, folks. That's if the head honcho's gone too. That's just a fact.
Yeah, because so to expand on that, Masai's nearing the end of his current extension. He just fired a coach and then hired a new one and spent a lot of time doing that. Now, granted, I'll use Masai's words. Thank you, Teresa and Bobby, right? So he did say maybe it's on them, but you were still the person that signed off on it. And so for you to then a year and a half later, a year, not even a year and a half, I guess, a year and a half later, to fire that dude and hire a new dude, it's a little too soon to do that. So he's got to ride this puppy out. And I'm not saying that he's gone for sure, but I'm just saying if he fires the coach, it's going to be a tough sell to management. You'll probably say, hey, Jama, have the job or whatever. It's a tough sell to his boss, to Pelly, to basically say, can I hire a new expensive coach that's better? Because Mike Brown isn't coming here for an undisclosed amount of money for an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah.
If you're a Mike Brown person, I don't care one way or another.
No, I think so. When it comes to team, the tanking element, I guess this ties to team building, is like you're trying to find who's going to give you the highest upper echelon chance of being that type of player, and it's the draft. And right now there might be 3, 4, maybe 5 guys that might be able to do it in this draft. So this is where it's at. And I mean, depending how things go next year and who you pick, you might be in the same position next year too. So just buckle up for that, fans. Like this may not be a 1-year thing. Next year you might be in the same boat. Maybe you're a little lower, but you might still be back in the lottery next year.
Yeah. I know some people have also said that they would stake their claim that if you get Cooper Flagg, that we could be a top 6 team next year. I would not guarantee that. The problem is that we lack a lot. We lack depth at center, for example. We lack wing depth. We lack a proper offensive initiator, particularly one that is a point guard. We don't have that. And so when you're missing so many pieces, I've described this as a puzzle from like a musty puzzle from a garage sale that's missing a bunch of pieces and has things that are mismatched. We're never going to complete this puzzle with its current form. And for that reason, it's like, it's not just an effort thing. And I don't know if everyone is there yet in terms of fans, but I'm there. And I think it's very evident on the court. There is an upper limit to what we can do with this team.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Coach.
Beyond was making a point about tanking, how it can be a bit of an indictment on your best player. We all know who they're trying to build around right now, and it's Scotty. But we have to also realize this whole core in general. This core, even though it's been in and out of the lineup, has 10 wins on the year right now. Who honestly thinks that this core in the next year or two, without a significant talent upgrade, is going to be a top 16? Because I don't.
Here's the other thing too, and that's my last point on it. Coach made a point just now, and I think now a baseball analogy, which is very apt. And I think with this organization, like they and you've mentioned in some discussions tonight too, they are so much about trying to go for the big swings all the time. They're sitting there. There's like you're in the business or marketing world. There's low hanging fruit sitting right there all the time, and they refuse to pick it up. Like time and time and time again, tweaking here, moving here through the margins here, that will help you improve your team. But they're always thinking of the big shiny prize that they know they're going to end up being the third option of someone at best. And then you're and then they're in reactive mode every single time, scrambling. There's not one free agent I can think of in modern times, in this case, of this iteration of the Raptor front office, where they'd get the free agent, in this case, being proactive.
I think the most proactive move that we've made in the past 5 years is the McDaniels move.
Which one? The trade or getting him?
The trade.
Right, because I'm talking about free agency. Saying, here's our targets. Here's something that we're reasonably thinking of. Right?
Yeah.
We are always the guy in this case here that, hey, we want to date the
it's like, is Fred coming back? Right. Is Fred coming back?
Yeah,
please, Fred, come back.
Like, we want the prom all the time, and we're like eighth guy in line that's asking the prom.
Oh, John Tate Porter, step right up.
And then we're running around here trying to find a date for the prom and get a corsage. Like, hey, that is what you want to go with the prom with us? Okay, sure.
Someone with a club foot or something like that, is
all the time. And you're sitting there going like, there's good guys sitting out there all the time. We don't want to take them. And then when you say, oh, geez, wonder what happened there. It's like, you had a chance to get him. I guarantee you next year, Markel Fultz will be on someone's roster doing Markel Fultz things in this case here. And everyone's going to look around and like, man, what's the deal there? How come you look at that guy? It's like, because that's what we do. That's what we do all the time. So be it him or PJ Washington or, whomever you want.
Lonnie Walker at one point, not necessarily this year, but like, in the past.
But we are never proactive. We're always reacting to free agency. It's not that we're not good free agent destination.
Lauri Markkanen.
Right. We always wait to get flat-footed, and then we're out here chasing around our tails, looking for something because we're always trying. Remember the year? Oh, we're getting Giannis. You're getting Giannis.
Yeah.
And all the bigs on our roster out the door going back to Spain. And then
it didn't quite work out, did it?
Yeah, what are we going to do now? It's like, this is what I'm talking about, man. So, like, this front office's mindset, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon when it comes to free agency. So it got to be through the draft because we bungle free agency all the time.
It was Giannis and it was Rudy Gobert was the backup, which thank goodness that didn't work out. Woof.
But with tanking too, though, if you just look back at what Philadelphia did, they decided to go full-blown tank process. You had Brett Brown, who was, I'm sure, out of his mind trying to coach a team to lose. No coach wants to do that. But yes, Joel Embiid fell in their lap. Ben Simmons fell in their lap. That doesn't always happen, though, when you go this route.
Not with flattened odds. And I don't believe the odds were flattened back then.
But I think you have to be careful with the process type of way because what ends up happening is, and funny enough, this is a Bill Simmons credit night in this case because he was discussing that guy, him with Kevin O'Connor, I think, is that it almost poisons the well, right? So you end up with loser mentality.
We're going down bad rhetoric.
No,
there's some poisoning the well.
And you smell losing mentality all over that franchise up to
yeah.
Because they've never figured out how to win.
Yeah, but the Raptors, in terms of this rebuild, they did one move that signaled one direction, and then another move that signaled a different direction. So you have IQ and Barrett, let's just call them 25 years old, and you get Scotty, who'll be 24 next year. The
Yeah.
guys aren't exactly 20, 21, 22. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
No.
And then you trade Siakam for a terrible contract and then a bunch of 3 picks. So it's like that's not the same direction. You're not, it's we're trying to do a quick rebuild here and a long rebuild here. That's not consistent. Which one are you doing?
Yeah, you
Because
gotta.
if that
That's
was
why
the
you have
case,
to embrace it, right?
yeah, if that was
uh,
the case, then you should try to trade Siakam for Keegan Murray then or Kuminga, if that was the
I
case.
think you stumbled on what really happened in this case here, is that they
Hmm.
weren't planning to rebuild. They
No.
thought that when they made the Knicks deal, they thought they were on their way now. Like, oh, we're now just pretty much now just flipping now. We're moving to a new group and we're on our way.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The best play that I saw on the court was after the Knicks deal.
Yes.
That's a whole nother discussion.
But that's a discussion for a whole nother day because we're going to be here for another hour discussing that. But that they stumbled on something, but they were already the other train was already too far down the track to back up and say whoopsie, and that was it. They had like maybe 3 days to figure that out, and they didn't figure it out fast enough. And we'll leave it at that for another episode of Basketball Rewind. But yeah, I think that's really what happened is that they thought it would work, and I think that they, it's interesting listening to some people that are, I understand the analytics, but some people are so analytically minded that they're just pure analytics, and there's some people that were like, well, the net rating of the Raptors during the 13 game stretch of this was like somewhat positive in this particular lineup. And that's all that they were holding on to, which is still a tiny sample size instead of watching the game. And the truth is that Memphis with their like D squad whooped us. And people were like, well, we didn't have Pirtle. And it's like, dog, they don't have no one. They didn't even have Steven Adams. There was Jaren Jackson and Gigi Jackson, and that's it. And Gigi Jackson at the time was a rookie who was a second round pick who fell to the 45th pick wrongfully, but still.
Memphis had the Jackson 5 out there, man.
He might as well, yeah. And that was it. I don't remember who else was in that game. It don't matter. There was, because right before that, we had played the team with other people on the team, and we beat them. And then we played them, and both teams lost pieces, but there was no excuse. Pirtle was gone, but we still had a lot of other players, and we sucked. Straight up. I'm not mincing words with this one. So, yeah, I think it's time to embrace the tank. I think at the end of the day, you have to pick a lane. And sometimes that means moving off guys or making decisions more quickly. Because like I keep, and there's no pun intended there, but what I said, which is very important, and I keep saying it, is evaluations need to come faster. You need to be able to assess what you have quickly in a rebuild to essentially speed up the rebuild to make decisions. That doesn't mean to always make decisions to move forward and get better, but sometimes it's decisions to understand that what you have isn't good enough and to move on. Coach, I'll give you a final word. Beyond, you can have a final word, and then we are out of here.
This whole year has been an evaluation year, or it should be. It's very much about process. It's not about winning or losing for me. It's evident with the winning and losing what we are, but you just can't be in the bottom 25 of defense. You can't be in the bottom 20 on offense. The issue is too is it's just like there's no hope in sight with the defense. If this is your core moving forward defensively with Pirtle, does that give you much optimism defensively? And I don't have much optimism.
Doesn't give me top 6 optimism for next year. No, it doesn't.
No, the goal next year should be playing, Cooper flag or not.
Yep. To be top 6, by the way, just so people know, in general, you need to be one combination of these following 3 things. Either on offense, you have to be a top 10 offense, and then you can be lower than top 15 on defense, or vice versa, or top 10 in both.
And here's the thing too, because a lot of people think with Flag coming in or Harper next year, we are going to be so much better. Do you know what you're asking of them? You're more or
Of a
less asking to
rookie.
be number
Of
one
a
option
rookie.
of a rookie. And I don't want to set that lofty expectations for a rookie in year one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to be good. I don't mean that. I just think we have so many holes in this team. It's a lot for a rookie to, come and take over when essentially, as Kenyon has said, you build around a core, you let that core develop.
If they meet that goal, then they're truly generational.
Well, they're very good if they do.
And I would not put that expectation on a rookie. If it happens, great. But that's a lot to me, as you said, like you could put Wemby on this team, we would be better, but you're still putting a lot on Wemby to improve this team.
Everything has to get better, not just the players. Coaching staff has to get better. The front office has to get better too. It's not just players. You've got to expect a lot more from Darko and staff, assuming that they're coming back next year. And I have my own opinions on that, I won't say, but if assuming they're coming back, that's a lot on them that they have to change next year. They want to make this team good. So if they're doing the good things in practice but not in the game, you got to make sure whatever you're doing in practice, you better do it in the game next year too, if that's what's happening.
Yeah, which makes no sense, because why would you teach something on one side and then tell someone not to do it? It would make no sense. People, if you've played basketball, what has a coach ever done that to you? If you played any sport really that involves a coach, would a coach tell you practice it this way and then be like right before you're about to go out? It's like, nah, it's just, I was lying about that. Jokes, April Fools, right? We ain't doing that. So yeah,
So the college coaches I've been around, I've never heard of that. I can
Yeah.
only speak to that.
And you've coached, so
Yeah.
it's. Could you imagine a surgeon? No, it's not that vain. Gotcha. All right, now move aside. Let me staple. Let's get to you. Final words, and let's get out of here after that.
Clarity. That's all I got to say. I've gotten my answers. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. That's it. At the end of the day, they put this team together to get answers on everyone on down, and the whole point of this year is to see what we have, for better or for worse. So yeah, with that being said, guys, people, it is Basketball Rewind. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't think I said it on the way in. I am saying it on the way out. Hopefully you like this episode. I got a little bit feisty in it. I'm a little bit passionate about basketball sometimes. Sometimes it's about the Raptors. Sometimes it's not about the Raptors. Continue to watch and enjoy the stuff. And yeah, any feedback is very useful. It's going to be a cold week, people, especially if you're in Canada. Stay warm and take care, and peace.